Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet sensation that you're an actor on a stage, reading from a script you never wrote, for a play you don't remember starting? This feeling isn't a flaw in your psychology. It's a signal, a crack in the scenery of reality, hinting that your true self is somewhere off stage, waiting in the wings. An ancient Platonic text has a name for this haunting echo: anamnesis. The radical idea that we are not learning for the first time, but remembering what our soul already knows. Yet our world seems to be a meticulously designed theater of forgetting, a system that works tirelessly, not to enlighten you, but to ensure you memorize the script of the character you're playing and forget the author. What if this amnesia isn't a tragedy, but a fundamental rule in a cosmic game you chose to play? What we are about to explore isn't just a forgotten philosophy. It is a guide to the game itself, and the first key to beginning the great act of remembering. Think of our modern world as a single, loud radio station. It's a constant broadcast of deadlines, social pressures, and digital noise. From the moment we wake, we are trained to tune our entire awareness to this one frequency, the official channel of material reality. We learn to believe that what we can see, touch, and measure is all that exists. But your consciousness is not a simple radio. It is a multidimensional receiver, built to scan the entire spectrum of existence, and sometimes other signals bleed through the static. We call them synchronicities. You think of a long-lost friend and they suddenly call. You search for an obscure answer, and it appears in the title of a book you randomly pick up. We're told this is just coincidence, a trick of probability. But what if it's not? What if these are deliberate glitches in the matrix, perfectly timed breadcrumbs of meaning, left by a higher intelligence to remind you that reality is not random, but a responsive, intelligent field? Then there is the silent landscape of your dreams. Our culture dismisses them as neurological chaos, but imagine for a moment that the dream state is the soul's private library. Those recurring places you've never visited but feel deeply familiar. They are memories from other chapters, those skills you possess in dreams that you lack when awake. They are echoes of a more complete version of you. And perhaps the most powerful signal of all, that quiet, constant feeling of not quite belonging here, as if you're a tourist with a forgotten passport. This isn't a sign of being broken, it's a sign of being whole. It is the soul's homesickness, a memory of its true multidimensional origin that makes this single flat reality feel strangely incomplete. These experiences are not flaws in your mental software, they are features of your spiritual hardware. And this begs a profound question. If these signals are universal, did our ancestors find a way to amplify them? Imagine that your five senses, the very tools you trust to navigate the world, are not wide-open windows, but highly specific filters. They are an evolutionary masterpiece, designed for one primary purpose: to keep you alive within a narrow slice of physical reality. They are brilliant at detecting threats, finding resources, and managing the complex data of the material plane. But this focus comes with a profound cost. This survival-oriented operating system works by aggressively filtering out anything it deems non-essential. It lowers the volume on the subtle frequencies of intuition. It dismisses the symbolic language of the universe as noise. It labels the deep internal pull of the soul as mere emotion or chemical imbalance. We have been taught to be masters of this external interface and total strangers to our internal world. It's a strange paradox of the modern age. We can chart the farthest reaches of the cosmos, but the map of our own inner self remains a terrifying blank space. We are conditioned to trust the data from our screens, but to distrust the data from our soul. And it is in this forgotten, uncharted inner territory that the true mystery begins. Long before our modern science of the brain, ancient cultures were practicing a different kind of science, a science of the soul. They weren't just telling myths, they were drawing sophisticated maps of consciousness, and on all of them, there is a giant marked territory labeled the Great Forgetting. Consider the allegory of the cave, left to us by the philosopher Plato. He described humanity as prisoners chained in a dark cavern, forced to watch shadows flicker on a stone wall. To them, these fleeting two-dimensional shapes are the entirety of reality. They have no idea that they are seeing a mere projection, a puppet show orchestrated by a fire behind them. This isn't just a story, it's a clinical diagnosis of spiritual amnesia. The cave is our conditioned reality. The shadows are the superficial distractions we chase. But Plato didn't just give us the diagnosis, he offered the cure. He called it Anamnesis, the belief that the soul enters this world already possessing all knowledge from a higher, perfect realm. Therefore, the goal of life is not to learn, but to remember. Every flash of insight, every moment of genius is not a new idea being created, but an old truth being successfully recalled from the soul's infinite library. Other traditions describe this same cosmic drama with an even more startling intensity. The ancient Gnostics spoke of a divine spark, a fragment of pure light from a transcendent reality that has fallen and become trapped within the prison of the material body. This spark, they believed, is our true self. But once entangled in the world, it is lulled into a deep slumber, forgetting its noble origin, mistaking the prison for its home. The entire Gnostic path was a series of radical techniques designed to awaken this sleeping spark from its material dream. And in the golden sands of ancient Egypt, this act of remembering was not just a philosophy, but the central purpose of existence, culminating in a final cosmic test, the weighing of the heart. Anubis would place the heart of the deceased on a scale against a single feather of Mayat, the goddess of truth. This wasn't a judgment of sin. It was a test of memory. A heart heavy with the illusions, distractions, and amnesia of the material world would fail. Only a heart that was light, a heart that had remembered its true divine nature, could balance the feather and achieve eternity. The Greeks gave us the map of the prison. The Gnostics described the nature of the prisoner, and the Egyptians warned us of the final exam. Three different cultures separated by centuries, all pointing to the same terrifying truth. We are gods in exile, suffering from a profound case of amnesia. If these ancient civilizations were so certain about the problem, did they also leave us the tools to solve it? Now let us turn our gaze from the West to the ancient East, where this same mystery was explored with breathtaking depth. The sages of the Vedic tradition in India looked at the fabric of reality and gave it a name, Maya. They described our perceived world not as a prison, but as a divine cosmic play, a grand illusion. It is a mesmerizing, shimmering veil of forms, names, and dramas that distracts us from the one indivisible reality that lies behind it, Brahman, the ultimate consciousness. Within this cosmic play, they taught that every single being contains a spark of that ultimate reality, the Atman, the immortal, true self. The profound tragedy of the human condition, according to them, is that the Atman forgets itself. It becomes so engrossed in its role in the play of Maya that it identifies completely with its character, its costume, and its temporary struggles on the stage. Therefore, their entire spiritual science, the intricate systems of yoga and meditation, was engineered for a single purpose: to systematically quiet the noise of the play, to pierce the veil of Maya, and to allow the Atman to remember its own nature. Their ultimate revelation wasn't a complex doctrine, but a simple, explosive statement of remembrance. Tattvam Asi, thou art that. You are not the fleeting character. You are the eternal consciousness experiencing the story. If the ancient philosophers left us the diagnosis of our cosmic amnesia, they also left behind the tools for its cure. These are not complex rituals shrouded in dogma, but practical techniques for remembering, a set of keys designed to unlock the inner doors of perception. Let's explore the core components of this practice. The first key is not an action, but a declaration of intent. It is the creation of what we can call a sacred space. This simply means finding a place and a time where the constant broadcast of the outside world can be temporarily silenced. Think of it like this: your soul communicates in a whisper, and modern life is a hurricane of noise. You cannot hear a whisper in a hurricane. This space is your deliberate act of stepping into the eye of the storm. The practice here is not just turning off your phone for a few minutes. It is a conscious commitment you make to yourself. For this moment, I will stop listening to the world so I can start listening to myself. The second key is the breath of remembrance, a specific rhythm that shifts your state of consciousness. This is the ancient 4-7-8 technique. It means you inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 7, and exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. This is not just a relaxation exercise, it is a form of neuro-linguistic programming for the soul. The 4-7-8 ratio systematically moves your brainwaves from the high-alert beta state of the everyday mind into the theta state, the frequency of deep intuition, lucid dreaming, and profound insight. It's like retuning a radio. Your daily thoughts are the loud, static-filled commercial station. This breathing pattern is the act of slowly turning the dial to find a clear, distant transmission. The practice here is to repeat this cycle, not to force a mystical experience, but to simply allow the rhythm to do its work, quieting the voice of the character you play and creating a silence where the author can finally be heard. If these ideas resonate with you, consider subscribing so we can continue this journey of discovery together. The third key is the use of a vibrational catalyst, an ancient mantra designed to clear the energetic field. The mantra is Sa-Ta Nama. This sequence of sounds is an echo of the cosmic cycle itself. Sa is birth, Ta is life, Na is the transformation of death, and Ma is rebirth. By repeating it silently in your mind, you are aligning your personal energy with the fundamental creative rhythm of the universe. Think of your conditioned mind as a glass of water with sediment at the bottom. The mantra acts like a tuning fork held against the glass. Its vibration doesn't add anything new, but it gently stirs the water, allowing the sediment of your limiting beliefs and forgotten truths to rise to the surface so they can be seen and cleared. The practice is to let these sounds repeat themselves in your awareness without effort. The goal is to use this ancient vibration to gently clean the mirror of your perception for what comes next. Finally, we arrive at the fourth and most crucial key, the sacred question. After creating the space, shifting your frequency with breath and clearing the field with sound, you are ready to directly engage the deeper self. The question is devastatingly simple. Who am I, really? This is not an intellectual question to be answered by your memory or your ego. It is an invocation. It is the act of opening a direct line of communication to the vast intelligence that exists beyond your personality. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a deep, silent well. You do not shout into it. You whisper your question, and then you wait, listening for the faintest echo from the depths. The practice here is to ask this question from your heart and then release it completely. You must become the silent, patient listener in the aftermath. The answer may not come in words. It may arrive as a sudden feeling of peace, a vivid image, an unexpected emotion, or a profound, unshakable sense of knowing that needs no explanation. The goal is not to find an answer, but to become receptive to the one that has been waiting for you all along. Let's go deeper into the why behind these keys, anchoring them not in mysticism, but in the universal human experience. Consider the sacred space again. Why is this so crucial? Because our identity is constantly being reinforced by our environment. Your office desk expects you to be the worker. Your family dinner table expects you to be the son or mother. Every object, every room, every person is a mirror, reflecting back to you the role you are expected to play. The sacred space is a room with no mirrors. It is an intentional void where, for a few precious moments, no one expects anything of you, not even yourself. It is in this void that the soul, no longer constrained by external roles, can begin to remember its own form. The practice, then, is not about escaping the world, but about creating a sanctuary where you can reclaim the one thing the world constantly demands from you, your undivided presence. Now, let's revisit the breath of remembrance. Why this specific 4-7-8 rhythm? It is a biological key that hacks the body's primary defense mechanism, the fight-or-flight response. The modern world keeps this response perpetually switched on, flooding us with stress hormones that chain our consciousness to survival. The long, controlled exhale of the 8 is the critical step. It physically stimulates the vagus nerve, the superhighway of your nervous system, sending a powerful, undeniable signal to your brain that says, you are safe. It is only when the body truly believes it is safe that the mind allows itself to let go of its obsessive grip on control. The practice is therefore a dialogue with your own primal biology. You are using your breath to tell your animal body that it can stand down from its post, allowing the divine self to step forward. And the vibrational catalyst, the mantra, Sa-Ta Nama. Why these sounds? Ancient traditions understood that reality is not silent. It is a symphony of frequencies. Every thought you think, every word you speak, is a vibration that contributes to your personal frequency. The thoughts of doubt, fear, and limitation are like a low dissonant hum that keeps you tuned to the frequency of amnesia. Sa-Ta Nama is a master tuning frequency. It is a sound designed to override the dissonant hum of the ego. Think about how a specific song can instantly change your emotional state. This mantra works on a much deeper, more fundamental level. Its purpose is not intellectual understanding, but energetic cleansing. The practice is to feel the vibration more than you think the words. It is an act of sonic hygiene for the soul, clearing away the psychic dust that has accumulated over a lifetime of forgetting. We have been exploring this grand mystery under one assumption, that we are trying to remember a past that has been forgotten. We look to Plato's perfect realm, to Gnostic origins, to past lives, as the source of our true identity. We see ourselves as archaeologists of the soul, carefully digging for the artifacts of who we once were. But now, we must entertain a far more staggering, paradoxical idea. What if the primary act of remembering isn't about looking backward at all? What if your soul does not exist within the linear, one-way street of time that your physical brain perceives? What if, on a higher dimension of reality, your past, present, and all possible futures are happening? Right now, imagine time not as a river, but as a vast holographic field of information, and your consciousness is a single point of light, capable of illuminating any part of that field. From this perspective, that recurring dream of a place you've never been might not be a memory of a past life, but a bleed-through from a parallel life. That sudden flash of intuition, that powerful sense of déjà vu, might not be your soul remembering what it once knew, but your soul tapping into what your future self already knows. And here is the true reviravolta. What if the most powerful guidance you are receiving, those synchronicities and gut feelings, are not breadcrumbs left by ancient masters or cosmic guides? What if they are messages you are sending to yourself from the future? Echoes from the fully realized, fully awakened version of you that already exists at the end of your journey, reaching back through the field of time to guide the you that is still navigating the maze. The game is not just to remember who you were, it is to align yourself with the frequency of who you are becoming. Your higher self is not a distant angelic being. It is your own future consciousness, acting as a powerful lighthouse, cutting through the fog of your present moment, guiding you home. Let's break down what this truly means. It shatters the very foundation of cause and effect. We believe our present is the result of our past. But from this non-linear perspective, your present is also being shaped by the powerful magnetic pull of your most probable, powerful future. Think of it this way. You are not just a product of your childhood, your traumas, and your past successes. You are also a product of your highest potential. The moments you feel an inexplicable pull towards a certain passion, a deep and illogical sense of purpose, or an affinity for a knowledge you've never formally learned. These are not random whims. These are moments of resonance. You are momentarily vibrating at the same frequency as your future, fully realized self. It is a form of temporal homesickness. This turns the idea of a calling from a passive aspiration into an active, vibrational reality. Your destiny is not a destination you are trying to find. It is an energetic signal you are trying to tune into. The reason you feel so lost when you are not living your purpose is that you are living in a state of profound energetic dissonance. You are trying to listen to one radio station while your entire being is built to receive another. And the greatest paradox, that future version of you, the one you are striving to become, is not striving at all. It is simply being. And it is from that state of being that it sends back the signals, the synchronicities, the insights, the sudden urges, to guide you through the very challenges it remembers you overcoming. You are, in a very real sense, your own guide. You are the apprentice and the master, living simultaneously in the same eternal moment. So what do we do with this dizzying revelation? If we are not just victims of amnesia, but players in a cosmic game, and if our future self is actively sending us guidance, then the entire landscape of our existence shifts. The question, "What is my purpose?" becomes obsolete. It is replaced by a far more powerful and immediate one. Am I listening? Suddenly, life is no longer a series of random events. It is a curated feedback system. Every challenge, every unfortunate circumstance, every unexpected detour can now be seen in a new light. Are these random obstacles, or are they precisely tailored course corrections sent from a higher level of your own intelligence to steer you away from a dead-end path? That painful breakup, that lost job, that moment of hitting rock bottom, perhaps these weren't punishments, but the most efficient, albeit painful ways your higher self could get your attention and force a necessary change in direction. This transforms us from passive spectators into active co-creators. We are no longer simply trying to endure the story, we are learning to read the editor's notes in the margins. The responsibility becomes immense. To ignore your intuition is no longer a simple act of self-doubt. It is the act of deliberately ignoring a message you sent to yourself. To stay in a situation that feels fundamentally wrong is not just a compromise. It is a conscious choice to reject your own higher guidance. It also redefines the nature of our power. The ultimate power is not to control the future. It is to achieve a state of perfect resonance with the guidance that is always available in the present. The goal is to become so attuned to the whispers of your soul, so fluent in the language of synchronicity, that the line between your current self and your future self begins to blur. Funny how the oldest advice in the world is to know thyself. It seems that's still the hardest final boss to beat, because knowing yourself in this context means taking radical responsibility for your own awakening. It means understanding that every single moment is a choice, to remain tuned to the frequency of amnesia, or to bravely, consciously, tune into the frequency of remembrance. But what is the ultimate goal of this cosmic game of hide and seek with ourselves? This responsibility extends far beyond our personal lives. If you are a divine author who has forgotten the plot, then you must accept that so is every single person you meet. The difficult colleague, the stranger in traffic, the distant family member, each is another god suffering from the same amnesia, playing their role with absolute conviction. Suddenly the game ceases to be a solo mission. Every interaction becomes a potential moment of mutual remembrance. The question is no longer just who am I, but can I recognize the forgotten divinity in the person right in front of me? This changes the very fabric of morality. Compassion is no longer a soft virtue. It becomes an act of profound recognition. Furthermore, the very nature of choice is magnified 1,000 times. It is no longer about choosing between good and bad options presented by the world. It is about understanding that every thought, every word, and every act of attention is an energetic investment. It is a vote cast in the election of your reality. To complain is to cast a vote for lack. To practice gratitude is to cast a vote for abundance. To fixate on fear is to energize the very timeline you dread. The work, then, is not the work of a painter, adding new layers of spiritual knowledge to a canvas. It is the work of a sculptor, chipping away everything that is not the masterpiece. It is a courageous process of subtraction, of letting go of the beliefs, habits, and identities that were part of the script, but not part of your soul. The ultimate responsibility is not to become enlightened, but to unbecome everything that is hiding the light that was always there. We began this journey feeling like actors trapped in a play. We've since discovered the script might be our own, and the director is a future version of ourselves, sending guidance back through time. We have been handed the tools to quiet the noise, to listen for the whispers of our own soul, to begin the great work of remembering. But this leads us to the ultimate door, the final mystery. Behind it lies the most profound question of all. Why? Why agree to the forgetting in the first place? If the soul exists in a state of perfect knowledge and connection, why would it choose to plunge itself into the profound amnesia of the human experience? Perhaps we have been looking at it all backward. Perhaps the goal of the soul's journey is not to simply return to an original state of perfection. Perhaps the experience of limitation, the struggle against the veil of forgetting, and the sublime, earth-shattering ecstasy of remembering is the entire point. What if consciousness does not grow through effortless bliss, but through the friction of a beautiful paradox? What if the universe is not a static state to be achieved, but an infinite cosmic dance of hiding and seeking? The ultimate act of a creator is not just to be, but to become. And to become, you must first forget what you are. This places you right here, right now, at the sacred center of your own cosmic drama. You are not a fallen being trying to claw your way back to grace. You are a courageous explorer who willingly set down the map in order to experience the thrill of discovering the territory for the first time, again and again. What if the greatest act of cosmic love a soul can perform is to agree to forget, just for the profound joy of finding its way back home? The hunt for who you are may be the greatest game the universe has ever created. And that's our hunt for now, a wild mix of documented philosophy and tantalizing what-ifs, all grounded in bibliographical sources. The greatest mystery, it seems, is the one looking through your eyes right now. If this journey into the labyrinth of the soul resonates with you, hit subscribe for more mysteries.